Hello, I am Jody Wolf. You're watching EXPOZ. Today is August 13th, 2010. Israeli conflict number 2 is our discussion. I want to start with and say this up front. When I say Israeli conflict, that is simply my title. It's not an Israeli conflict or a Jewish conflict. It is a conflict with the rest of the world toward Israel and the Jewish people. It is a problem that the rest of the world has toward the Jewish people. It is not a problem that the Jews have with the rest of the world. You know, when you take, and I think I mentioned this before, if I haven't now, I'm going to tell you, when you take 12 million Jews and give them a number of Nobel Prizes for enormous inventions and great things that they've done for the world and that we live off of every day and that we use every day. And I'm not going to tell you that number yet, but then you take, I'm gonna just go to the Muslims, okay? I'm going to go to that part of the religion because there are 1.2 billion Muslims and there are 12 million Jews. Now, out of the 1.2 billion Muslims, you have a grand total of 7 Nobel Prizes. And if you want to count 1.2 billion and one, then add Obama. And he got his, in all honesty, out of a Cracker Jack box. He didn't deserve it. He certainly didn't do anything to get it. So, but if you want to count them, go ahead. That gives you 8. And how many do the Jews have? Just 129. What does that tell you? You know, back when Israel became a nation in 48, actually when they took their land back in 48, the world came together, and a great number of nations, I guess there was money in a fund, but Israel was given a sum of money. So were the Palestinians. Almost an equal sum. And it could have been not even an equal sum. It could have been more to the Palestinians. I don't know. But I do know the money was very close to the same. And let's just call it, and we can find the exact number. It's easy enough to do that. But just call it $20 million apiece. Israel took that money and they built their country. They cultivated land. They built sewers. They built water treatment plants. They built energy stations. You know, they did everything they could do to make their country a country and make it a place to live. Make it a place that you could inhabit, unlike what it was like when they got there. The Palestinians, on the other hand, took their money and did great things with it. They bought arms. They bought guns. They bought missiles. They bought army tanks. And the money that they didn't use on these things, they put it in their pockets. So here you go. Israel ends up with a country, a great country, that's really self-supporting. It functions totally on its own without outside help. And the Palestinians are still walking in the dirt barefooted in their little mud brick houses. Israel's been building buildings and huge developments for their citizens. Palestinians, what are you doing? You still complaining, chomping at the bit, and sitting over there. Now, let me back up and say a little bit. There are a lot of good Palestinians. There are more good Palestinians than there are bad Palestinians. Just like in America, there are more good people than there are bad people. The bad people are in the White House. And that's Obama and all the cronies that works under him. Okay? In Palestine, you have about the same thing. You have cronies running your country while the rest of you suffer. Now to the main point. Israel has done nothing to this world but made it better. The Jews, in my opinion, and going by the Nobel Prizes and all the other awards, all the things they're doing, this good, they're pretty intelligent people. I do not think that there is a country, and I don't care how big it is, has more brilliant people in it than Israel has in their country. I don't think, and the brilliant people in our country, most of them are Jews anyway. So don't you think that we need to take lessons rather than bickering and fighting and snapping? I'm going to give you another couple of quick examples. You have the Taliban. You have the radical Islamic goofball. That's what you are. I don't believe in Allah. He's a figment of your imagination. In fact, he's a name taken. Well, I'll get to that on the next one. And Muhammad, a 6 foot, 2 or 4 inch tall red-headed dude with white skin. He wasn't in kin to you. He wasn't, he's not of your religion. He's not of your. Y'all just followed some guy that walked up, but that's okay. You have a right to do what you want to do. When on the other hand, Israel believes in God Almighty, our Creator. And but when you take a man that says he's Muslim and his religion is Islam, and he is standing behind a woman and a child, behind them, picking out behind them, shooting at the Jews and anybody else, and then you have a Jew, you have an Israeli soldier that puts that woman and that child behind him and protects them when he shoots back. Who's the man? Who is the man? Hide behind women and children, you're a friggin' wimp. You let the women and children hide behind you and you protect them, and then you're the man. Israel, you're the man. Jody Wolf, EXPOZ.